Okay, everybody ready? We good? Okay, first of all, real happy with the win. Really what stood out to me is our defense played unbelievable tonight. I think we gave up 91 total yards, something like that. They had the short field after the interception and made them kick a field goal. We had the block punt, which we got to get cleaned up with that, and then they had the play, and really that's all they did. I think they were 2 of 16 on third down, so it was an unbelievable job by our defense with that. Offensively, I thought we did some really good stuff. John Rice, everybody can see what he can do with his legs, but I thought he made some really good throws. And there's nothing like experience. There was a couple of times that you can tell he hadn't played quarterback in a year and a half, but he'll learn from him. He's a great competitor. Our receivers made some really good catches too. That was good, and then we mixed in the run game. And so a lot of things to clean up. Probably the big thing that stood out to me is 10 penalties. We'll take a look at it. We got to correct that. I mean, you can't have self-inflicted wounds. Xavier Townsend, you saw how explosive he is. Punt returns, a true freshman. I mean, he's got the wow factor with that. So I think we came out pretty much healthy free, which is good. Most teams, good teams improve from game 1 to game 2. The most they'll do the whole year. We need to do that, and our guys understand that. But overall, happy with the win, and glad to be 1-0, and really appreciate our fans, coming out, and especially with the weather. Second time to kick off the season in a row, and they hung in there and they did a super job for us. Questions?
I know your initial thoughts, haven't seen the tape yet, but John Rice, what did you like most about his game tonight, and what areas do you think need to see some improvement?
Yeah, of course, we started out with a bang. He made some really good throws right there, and we got some pace and tempo, and we're a lot better in tempo. We got to play. Of course, you got to get a first down first, but he'd like to have the one back that we got sacked right there, and with that, but he'll learn from it, and he did a really good job, and I was proud of him. He's a great competitor. I think you can see that. He can create when things break down. He made some really good plays with his feet on third down to keep some drives alive.
What did you think of Javon Baker's performance tonight? Whenever you're at transfers, you don't really you see the film, but you know what you're going to get. What did you think of him tonight?
Yeah, he's made plays like that, in fall camp, so we know he's got a skill set. He's a big physical receiver that can hold a point. He almost made that catch at the back of the end zone too, so he did some really good things.
Not just Javon Baker, but transfers in general, huge part of it. Of course, you talked about John Rice a little bit. Gamble had a big role in the game tonight too. Just overall with the transfers, was that kind of the goal for recruiting like the hairs on fire and doing all that?
We got so many weapons on offense. I think each game, you'll probably see maybe 2 or 3 really come on. Ryan O'Keefe is a phenomenal player. He made a great catch too. And so we got a lot of weapons. That's a good thing.
What would the decision-making process of keeping the starters into the game as long as they were around the 12-minute mark of the fourth quarter?
Yeah. Well, I think it was right, pretty close to that. You saw like we're pacing, and we weren't quite as fast as we really wanted to. And there's something to be said about getting yourself in game shape. And so it really felt like we had to push our guys to get them out there, and then. We got a real game next week. I think everybody knows that. So that had something to do with that. We'll see what happens later in the year, but felt real strong that we need to get ourselves in game shape ready before next week.
What did you think of the running game tonight between Bowser and Johnny?
Yeah, they're a different 1-2 punch, Bowser's a big bruiser, and then Johnny's electric. He comes at a different speed. He made a couple wild plays out there, and of course he caught the ball and some real good blocking at the point of attack on the touchdown too.
Coach, a lot of local recruits here tonight. Can you talk about the importance of having those hometown hero recruits in the bounce house?
Yeah, when the fans are rocking like that, and you play good football, it helps recruit. It all works together, and so we had some big timers.
Congratulations on a big win. South Carolina, they were champions of the Celebration Bowl. Did you take that into consideration for this big one today?
Yeah, you look at them, and they had the majority of their team back. They won 6 out of the last 7. They got a really good coach. So we took them very seriously. In college football, you have to do that, and so we were glad to win the game handily.
Coach, you talked a little bit about Gamble's, the addition of Gamble on your offense. How does athleticism really kind of speaks out to you, the way he was able to extend that play to that 30-yard touchdown?
Yeah, he's like a receiver. He's a very talented young man that can stretch the field, and do a lot of different things. So you'll see we'll keep getting him the ball.
Yes, I know there were a number of times when it looked like John Rice, when a normal quarterback or a different quarterback might have slid. Is that something you're going to talk to John Rice about a little bit, or you just
Yeah, you talking about that one on the goal line? Back to 5, yeah.
There was another one too.
Yeah, we're not going to do that again unless it's to win the game. You know, I used to say that to Cam, you know, Newton back in the day, and then figured out that he did it all the time, so I just told him run over everybody. But John Rice is different, so I'll definitely tell him unless it's for the game, we're going to avoid that contact.
Coach, what were the concerns? What were you said you have to clean up some things, concerns? It seemed like early in the game, besides John Rice, you weren't really getting much push running the ball.
Yeah, I mean, we got to run the ball better. There's no doubt about that. And there's a lot of things to clean up on the film. And, you know, we got 2 new offensive tackles. We have our starting tackle to move to guard. So there's a mesh, you know, time as far as that goes. And so we're going to have to do a better job in a lot of different areas. And like I said, we got a lot of new players. And it was the first game. And the great thing about the first game is you learn so much. You know, I mean, practice and scrimmages, you're playing against each other. The defense knows what you're doing. The offense knows what each other's doing. But you go out there and you play. So we'll be able to clean some things up.
Coach, last week John Rice said his greatest responsibility as starter was knowing the game plan, the playbook like the back of his hand. How much command do you feel he had out there today?
Yeah, you know, I felt pretty good. You know, he's he worked extremely hard, you know, to play quarterback for us. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts with the terminology, the protections, the checks, and everything. And the first game is the toughest because you gotta really bring in all the what ifs. Your playbook has to be huge. What if they do this? What if they do that? What if they do that? So as the season goes on, it gets a lot more specific. But I thought he did a good job handling the big picture with that. And like I said, he's got a chance to be a really, really good quarterback.
And that's the first time he's been live?
Yeah, no, we let him go live in the spring one time.
On that fumble return, can you talk about the effort play from Ryan O'Keefe to save a touchdown?
I should have probably brought that up first. That's the play of the game. I mean, you know, to be able to track that guy down and save that and it turns into 3 points, I mean, that's a winning football. Ryan O'Keefe's a great football player, and he's got great heart, and he's a winner, and that was a wild play.
Coach, you get this game done on a Thursday night. I know you're on Friday next week, but it's just maybe a slight advantage. Do you see that as any kind of advantage? You get it done early now?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, our opponent, I think they play it Saturday night, you know, on the road. So we you know, that was a tough one last year. I think everybody knows. And, you know, they're a good team. We're playing them at home, and it's a big game for us.
We've been talking through the offseason that the linebackers were a point of focus. How do you think they did tonight?
I think our linebackers did. I think the whole defense did a good job. I mean, up front, it starts up front, and our defensive line dominated the line of scrimmage and allowed them to play downhill. You know, we just man them up. You know, Trav just felt real strong about, you know, putting the pressure on them, man them up, and we got some guys that can really cover. So they had a great plan, and our defense executed very well.
Tight end in the fourth quarter, Zach Marshwojan. That was not only his first touchdown, his first catch in a UCF uniform. What do you think about that play? He kept to make sure his toes were inside the line.
Yeah, Zach's one of those guys kind of under the radar. He's a really good player. He does a lot of different things for us. I think his family came in from California, so that was a real special deal.
Coach, how would you evaluate the play of the special teams unit tonight?
The punt block right there, I mean, that's unacceptable. We got to clean that up. I mean, they came after it once, you know, and they almost got it, and so we got to clean it up. We got to get the thing out of there when they're coming, and we'll work extremely hard on that. The punt return I thought was really good. You know, we got the whole. We had 2 kick returns close to the 50-yard line. They called holds on both of them, and we'll take a look. You know, our guys are competing and all that, and we'll clean that up.
Coach, you have a big game next week against Louisville. How much did it influence you what to do this game that you maybe did not want to give them film for next week?
No, we were trying to beat these guys, you know, and we'll have a game plan for them. The thing about it, we played them last year. They know us, we know them, so both groups will probably have a good plan. Anything else? Okay, thank you.
Thanks, guys.